What is up, YouTube? Hopefully you are doing well. Let me get back here so you can actually see my whole body. All right, today is a very important video. We are going to talk about how to get in shape for 2024, and not just 2024, 2025, 2030, 2040. You might be watching this video 10 years down the line. I might actually finally grow a beard. Who knows? That would be fucking awesome. But we're going to talk about exactly what you need to do to get in shape for 2024 and beyond. And so this is going to apply to every year. And these are going to be your principles that if you follow these things, you are going to succeed. There's no other way around it. There's no other choice. Like, there's no other option, right? It's just like if you walk forward, you're gonna move. There's nothing stopping that. If you follow what I'm gonna show you in this video, so make sure you watch the whole video, you're gonna succeed, okay? That's just the nature of it, and that's just what's gonna happen. So first, before we dive into these things, okay, because I broke it up into 4 quadrants, it's gonna be a little bit of a different style, but I think it breaks down into these 4 quadrants, and you'll see here and what each 4 of these contain, which again, watch the whole video. And then focusing on different ones at different times, or all of them, or working your way up, which we'll talk about soon. But first, I want you to set some proper expectations, because I think this is a big mistake where most people mess up. When the new year rolls around, what is the highest? Motivation, right? We're motivated. We have our diet plan, we have the foods we want to buy, we have our workout plan, maybe we bought our gym membership, maybe we told all our friends and family. This is all great stuff, but having proper expectations is a key, because I think it's where most people fall off. So when you're super motivated, it's easy to get going, right? The problem is staying going, right? It's easy to fall off. So I think the first expectation to have is you're not doing this just for the next week. You're not doing this just for the next month. You are doing this for the rest of your life, right? This is a lifelong thing, okay? So I think having that expectation now that this isn't just like a 2024 thing, or this isn't just a January thing, this is a lifelong thing, that's gonna be important, okay? The second thing, don't do dumb shit. Now, we'll talk about what you're gonna do, but don't do stupid shit like go work out 7 days a week, 2 times a day. Don't go on any of these crazy fasting protocols that require you to fast for multiple days and essentially starve yourself. Don't buy any of these crazy supplements that require you to spend a lot of money and that basically make you have diarrhea. Don't starve yourself. Don't do any of these crazy fad diets. Do what works for you, right? Because again, this is a lifestyle. So there's still room for enjoyment. We're not focusing on perfection, right? We're focusing on progress. We're focusing on consistency. So don't do dumb shit, because if you do, that is a surefire way for you to quit, right? And remember, the only way you can fuck this up is if you quit. I don't care if you overeat for a week. I don't care if you had a whole box of pizza, which I've been guilty of and I've done before in my past. Now I wouldn't be able to do that, but I've done that before. I don't care if you eat a whole tub of ice cream. You need to get in your mind, you can't mess up. Which is amazing, because that means you're always one meal, one day to get back on track. Sorry, I was just looking to see if this was on. That would suck if I was filming this and that wasn't on. But anyways, you're always one meal getting back on track, right? And if you can get in this mindset, you realize like, oh shit, I can't mess up. That way, you don't start spiraling out of control. You don't have the snowball effect where it's like one meal turns into a whole day, that turns into a whole week, a whole month, and you give up. Because you realize, hey, it's what you do most of the time, not some of the time. It's what you do January through November, not November through December, right? So when you realize that, hey, I just need to focus on being consistent. Right when I go off track, I just gotta get back on, and that's all I gotta do, and you're gonna be good. That's really the name of the game. So I want you to focus on not doing dumb shit, having proper expectations that, hey, this is gonna be harder than you want. This is gonna be a lot slower than you want. There's gonna be a lot of times where you wanna quit. And as long as you keep going, you keep pushing through, it does get easier and you will start to see some amazing results. Our first quadrant is gonna be mindset. Now, I know nutrition, exercise, all that kind of stuff, so sexy stuff, but without a proper mindset, any of that stuff's not gonna be sustainable, and it probably won't be enjoyable either. And if those things aren't the case, you're not gonna be able to do any of this stuff. You're gonna quit, right? Which is what we don't want. Because remember, this isn't just about 2024. This isn't just about a week. This is about your life, right? So adopting a proper mindset is going to be the key to your results. Now, I think the key here is a lot of people, we like to rush into things, right? So number one, just realizing like changing your mindset takes time, dude. I could tell you, like, if you knew me 4 years ago, right when I graduated college, I am a totally fucking different person I am today. It's not even close. And it's something that I've worked hard on, right? It's just like anything. It's like rewiring a computer, rewiring a machine or an engine, or I don't even know if that makes sense, but it's like rewiring something. Like you have to like basically reprogram your mind. You have to download new software into your mind to change your mindset, right? And it's a skill that you have to learn. You have to practice it, and it's a skill that will take time. Yes, you will fuck up. Yes, there'll be times you want to quit. Yes, there'll be times where it's hard and you feel like a failure. But I promise, if you keep going, you're going to keep learning. One thing I like to tell people is like, embrace failure, right? There's nothing wrong with failure. I used to be terrified of failing. When I was in high school and I played basketball, I screwed myself over because I was so scared of making the wrong play. I was so scared of turning the ball over. I was so scared of missing the shot. But everybody turns the ball over. Everybody misses shots. And actually my scaredness hurt me because I was timid, right? I wasn't myself. So if you just be okay with failure and be okay with making mistakes, guess what? You're going to learn quicker because those are the biggest lessons. So when you learn quicker, you actually become more confident, all right? So mindset is key, okay? I want you right now, write this down. I want you to keep track of this. This is very important. You have to adopt the you watching this video, but if I'm speaking in first person, the I can't fuck this up mindset unless I quit, okay? Because the only way you can mess up is if you quit. Now you might be thinking, Bob, that doesn't make any sense. I just ate a bunch of pizza. I ate, off track for a week or a month, and I, drank a bunch of alcohol and I gained 10 pounds back. Well, what did we talk about earlier? We talked about this isn't just a week. This isn't just 2024. This is your life. When you view it from that aspect, you have a lot of fucking time. And it's what you do most of the time. So a week is nothing, right? Regardless of your progress. This is kind of off topic, but you're going to gain weight and lose weight your whole life, right? It's going to go up and down. We just want the trend to go down. We want the trend to stay down. We want to always strive for improvement, okay? But you can't fuck up unless you quit, because guess what? Quitting is the only way you can't improve. Quitting is the only way you can't make progress, right? If you quit, you can't go to the gym and build muscle. If you quit, you can't eat healthy food. If you quit, you can't improve your health, right? So I want you to understand that, hey, it doesn't matter how much you mess up. You can't quit unless, or you can't, you can't fuck up unless you quit. You just got to get right back on track. And then you're going to, over time, be on track more often. The more often you're on track, the better results you're going to get, and the cycle continues. So I want you to understand right now, you can't fuck up unless you quit. And with that, again, we're focusing on consistency over perfection, okay? So the goal is to be 80 to 90% consistent. Now, I've had people do really well on 80%. I personally like closer to 90%. I just feel like when you learn how to be a little bit more consistent, as I drop this thing, you're going to get better progress quicker, and you're going to build that discipline muscle that much more quicker. I found that 90% works a lot better for most people, but again, 80 to 90% consistent, which means if there's 30 days in a month, you have to be on track 25 out of those 30 days, 27 out of those 30 days. Again, not perfect, but consistent, right? And it's important to learn how to be consistent, because I'm sure you can agree that it's easy to be perfect, right? It's easy to be on track for a month in a row. It's easy to be on track for a week in a row. But the hard part comes when you take a day off, or when you take a meal off, or when you take a week off. That's when it's hard to get back on track, right? So I actually want you to focus on being consistent versus being perfect, and really challenge yourself to do that and get out of your comfort zone and be uncomfortable, because it's a good thing. So one thing I like to do is making a calendar, and there's two ways you can do this. You could divide it by the whole month, okay? So you could actually go through, I'm filming this during the holidays, like Christmas and New Year's. So for example, maybe I'll go through and I'll pick 3 days where I'm gonna be off track. Christmas, Christmas Eve, my birthday. Okay, so those are 3 days. So I would actually go on the calendar and I would mark 3 X's. Okay, so I would be like, okay, my birthday an X, Christmas an X, Christmas Eve an X. Awesome. I know I'm gonna be off track those days, but I know I have control over the other days, and I'm gonna be on track those days. And that's what I'm gonna do most of the time. That's gonna help me stay on track. Another way you can do this, depending on what works for you and depending on your lifestyle, you could go by the week, okay? You could go by the week and how many meals you eat, all right? So if you eat, let's just say, which we'll dive into a little bit in the nutrition part, but if you eat, let's just say 21 meals a week, maybe you pick out, okay, hey, these 2 meals this week are gonna be off track. These other 19 meals are gonna be more on track. So consistency is the name of the game. Shoot for 80 to 90% consistency. That is how you're going to get long-term progress. Yes, the progress might be a little bit slower, but remember, it's going to be better over the long term, and you're going to be able to actually still enjoy life without having to give up all your favorite stuff. Number 2, motivation. Motivation is a tricky little thing. So motivation is a feeling. Maybe you have said, hey, I'm not feeling motivated today, Bob. Or maybe you're not feeling motivated watching this video. Or maybe you struggle feeling motivated, right? Well, guess what? It's a feeling. Not everybody is motivated all the time. If Elon Musk relied on motivation, Tesla wouldn't be a thing. If Jeff Bezos relied on motivation, Amazon wouldn't be a thing, because motivation is a feeling. It's not something we can just grab out of thin air and say, hey, I need you right now, buddy. Please help me out. I want to feel motivated. The key is, though, we can create a little bit of motivation. And this is where discipline comes into play. This is where your discipline muscle and building up those strong discipline muscles come into play. That is the key. What is discipline? Discipline is basically doing the shit that you need to be doing regardless of how you feel. So those days where you'd rather lay on the couch, eat a bag of Cheetos, and watch Netflix, that's when you're like, hey, I'm gonna still get up and go to the gym. That day where you need to get up an hour early to get your workout in, but because you work and you're like, man, I just want to hit that snooze button, that's when you get up regardless. Because that's an actual skill and an actual muscle. And the more you use it, the stronger it gets and the easier it gets. So you actually start to just taking action automatically. You don't even think about it. It becomes easier to take action. And then the more action you take, right? Just like we said, the more consistent you are, the better results you're going to get. You're going to start to look leaner. You're going to start to notice you have more energy. You're going to be stronger. You're going to be more jacked, right? And that's what we're aiming for, okay? Now, what comes after that? Well, number 1, there's going to be a fucking boost of confidence, because you're proving to yourself that you can do this. You could take action regardless of how you feel. There's nothing more powerful than that, because you become unstoppable, dude. You do, right? And trust me, I used to procrastinate to the end. There was days where I would just come home from school, or I would even wake up and I would hit that snooze button. I would not do any work. I would just want to be lazy and I would play video games. And then I started working on this discipline muscle and now it just becomes automatic, right? Like I actually look forward to the days I'm not disciplined because I know most people on those days are not going to do their workouts. I know most people on those days are not going to do the work they need to do. I'm going to get ahead of them. I'm not like most people, right? So I actually use it as fuel on those days to do shit. So when I notice myself saying like, I don't want to do this, I use that as a sign that, hey, I should probably do this, right? So the days that you don't want to do things, that's especially important to do them. So anyways, not only are you going to get more confident, but the results are going to lead you to more motivation. You're going to want to start taking more action, okay? So don't rely on motivation. Stop doing that because you're setting yourself up for failure if you do that. Take action regardless of how you feel because you're probably not going to want to do it most days. And motivation will eventually come because you'll get results. Okay, number 3. This kind of helps you tie into number 2 with your discipline. One thing I like to do, it's actually called consequential thinking. And essentially what you do, you tie in to how you're going to feel afterwards. All right? So, for example, let's say you wake up early before work to go work out and you fucking feel great. Like you love it. It helps you in your work day. You're more productive, you're more friendly, which is great. And your hunger's more controlled and you just feel amazing. It just makes your day so much better when you work out in the morning. You wake up one day and you're just like, man, I want to hit that snooze button. I just want to get some sleep. But then you think, how am I going to feel if I don't get this workout in? Is it going to make me feel good? Or is it going to make me feel like shit? Right? And then you can use that to fuel yourself to taking action. One thing for me with nutrition, I was actually just talking to my wife about this today. For some reason, when I eat pizza, like I fucking love pizza, right? And I still eat it sometimes. I just feel like shit when I eat it. I don't know if it's greasy food. I don't know if it's pizza. But for whatever reason, when I eat pizza, I feel like crap. And I've tied that in to my actions. So beforehand, when I struggled and I didn't have much control, I would have a piece of pizza in front of me and I would eat that pizza. And like I mentioned before, I would have the whole box. Now I think and I slow down. I don't let my emotions take over. I think, I'm like, okay, do I really want this pizza? Like, how am I going to feel afterwards? Sometimes it's a yes. It's like, yeah, I want it. I want to enjoy it. It sounds good. My family's having it. And I haven't had pizza in a while, so I'm going to have it now. But most of the time, I think to myself, you know what? I just don't want to feel like shit afterwards. I'm going to stick to something else. I'm going to stick to the salad. I'm going to stick to my stir fry. I'm going to stick to something else healthier that makes me feel better. And you start to tie into how certain things make you feel. And that's how you start making better decisions most of the time. And that's how you start really making this sustainable. Now, again, it doesn't mean you're always going to be perfect. And it doesn't mean you can't take a day off. Or that doesn't mean you can't enjoy some of your favorite food. But again, most of the time you want to make the right decision. And tying in how you're going to feel afterwards helps out a lot. Number 4 is important because this is going to help you keep going, but also be grateful for what you have. And it's always be happy or proud, but never satisfied. Be grateful for what you have, but keep going. Don't let that stop you. Number 1, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm very hard on myself, right? So it's very easy for me not to look at what I've accomplished. And when you can look at what you've accomplished, it helps keep you motivated, right? Again, to keep taking action. And you prove to yourself that, hey, I can do this, and your confidence goes through the roof. And it makes it easier to keep taking action. Also, if you are, sometimes if you tell yourself like, hey, I'm doing a great job, you can also become complacent, right? So that's where the never satisfied comes into play because there's always room for improvement. And I'm telling you, there is something about that is so cool and so fun that you can always get better. Like this is a lifelong journey. You can always build more muscle. You can always get stronger. You can always have different goals. You can always improve, your health. You can always try different things, hit new PRs. There's a million things that you can do, and it just makes it fun. But you should be proud of what you've accomplished, but never satisfied to where you never stop taking action. So mindset's a big one, as you can see, and that's the first pillar of what I want you to start getting down for getting results in 2024. All right, the first thing, other than mindset, that's gonna be the most important is nutrition. So we're gonna break it down here. Nutrition is going to be important because your nutrition is going to be the driving factor, whether you gain weight, lose weight, or stay the same weight, right? Depending on how much you eat, right? So with calories are going to be the most important. This is going to be most important to least importance, okay? So calories are the most important because calories are the energy you take in. You take in energy and you burn energy, okay? So if this is how much energy you burn, right? If you eat less energy than that, you're in a calorie deficit. You're going to lose body fat because you're eating less calories than you burn. If you eat more calories than you burn, you're going to store body fat. If you eat the same calories that you burn, you're going to stay the same weight, right? So calorie deficit, calorie surplus, maintenance, calories are the main driver for whether you want to gain weight, lose weight, or stay the same weight. So that's the quantity of calories. The quality of calories are the makeup of calories, right? So quantity determines like, okay, 200 calories of an apple is the same as 200 calories as a ice cream. And you might be like, Bob, what the fuck? Like, before you fucking freak out, yes, technically the amount of energy 200 calories is in an apple is the same amount of energy 200 calories is in ice cream. So you could eat all ice cream, be in a calorie deficit, to lose weight. Wouldn't recommend it, but it's possible. The quality of that is what's different, right? Obviously, an apple has more fiber and nutrients. It takes a lot more space than the ice cream. 200 calories of ice cream, you're going to want fucking more, right? That's like 2 or 3 scoops. 200 calories of an apple, that could be like 2 or 3 apples. You're going to be full as fuck. So that's the difference, right? And then that's calories. So these are the main driver. That's the most important thing. Calories. Food quality matters, what you eat matters, but calories are going to be the most important thing. If you're not in a calorie deficit, regardless of what you eat, you could still overeat healthy food, right? You're going to not lose weight, all right? Next comes protein and fiber. This is the second most important thing, okay? Protein and fiber are going to help keep you full. Protein is important for building muscle, retaining muscle, keeping you full, boosting your metabolism. Very, very, very important. Fiber is important for keeping you full. It's important for your gut. So that's very important as well, okay? So these 3 things are going to be the main things and the most important things. So calories, I'm going to come over here. You're going to take your goal body weight times 12 plus or minus 100. That's your goal for calories. So if your goal is like, let's just say 1800 calories, plus or minus 100 would be 1700 to 1900 calories. All right. Now, protein and fiber, you're going to want 1 gram per pound times your goal body weight. So if your goal body weight is, let's say, I don't know, 150 pounds, you would eat 150 pounds of protein. You wouldn't eat 150 pounds of protein. That'd be fucking insane. You would eat 150 grams of protein. Fiber, 25 to 35 grams minimum is a really good range for that, okay? So protein and fiber are gonna be essential. You wanna try having these each meal if you can, all right? Or most meals. It's gonna make it a lot easier. Now, to help with this, I highly recommend you track calories. That means downloading an app, tracking calories for at least the first month so that you can learn how much you're eating. You can learn what certain foods contain protein, what certain foods contain fiber, how to even it all out, and use a food scale as well so you can learn proper portion sizes. Tracking and measuring your food, especially in the beginning for at least the first month, is going to be your gateway to great results and educating yourself on proper portion sizes and how much and what to eat for your body. So just because you don't count calories doesn't mean they don't count, right? So I highly recommend you track your calories for at least the first month, especially if you want the best progress. Now, carbs and fats, these are optional. You don't have to track them. You can if you want, but these are optional, okay? Carbs are gonna be your fuel source. They give you energy. They're also muscle sparing, so they actually help prevent your body from losing muscle. They spike insulin. Insulin downregulates cortisol, which helps suppress the breakdown of muscle. And they also help with reducing stress. Same thing. They reduce cortisol. Cortisol is your stress hormone, so they can help with that as well. Fats are important for hormones and your health, so you definitely want to get some fats in. But these, play around with it. If you like a little bit more carbs, have a little bit more carbs. If you like a little bit more fats, have a little bit more fats. Just as long as your calories are in check and your protein and fiber in check, you're going to be good to go. The last thing is be flexible. This means that yes, you can still include some of your favorite foods in moderation, and it's totally fucking cool, dude. Like, you're good, right? So nothing's gonna happen. Now, you could be too flexible, and that's where a lot of people mess up, so they end up overeating. But you can definitely be flexible, right? Now, what might that look like? I like to use it as like how I live my life, right? So all the days I have control over that are normal days for me, I stay on track. But then when something comes up, that's when I'm flexible. If I have a party, if I have an event, a vacation, something like that, maybe a work party, a holiday, that's when I'm going to be flexible. That's when I'm going to go off track. But then I'm going to get right back on. And I'm going to stay on track the days I have control over, the days in between these special events, right? And again, it's not a whole day, okay? It's a meal, right? Or it's 2 meals. And it's not a free day, it's a free meal, right? So that's how I recommend being flexible. You can also do it by meals too, right? So you could do it by like, again, maybe you like can see like, hey, this week I'm gonna go out to dinner, right? So you can sandwich your meals. So maybe you eat a healthy lunch and then you have your dinner, enjoy yourself, then you eat a healthy breakfast the next morning. Or maybe you eat, you're going out for lunch, maybe you eat a healthy breakfast, then you go out for lunch, enjoy yourself, eat a healthy dinner. So you can sandwich your meals, not make it into like this huge day thing, and get right back on track, and you're gonna be good. And that's basically with nutrition. This is gonna be your important thing. Just remember, calories first, protein, fiber second. All this stuff is the icing on the cake. You don't necessarily need to focus on these. If you have these in check, right here, you get really good at hitting your calorie goal, hitting your protein and fiber goal. You're already going to be so far ahead of most people. Now, you may be asking, how many meals should I eat? What's the best meal frequency, or what's the best meal plan routine? Guess what? Doesn't fucking matter, right? What matters most is the total calories at the end of the day. Doesn't matter if you eat 1 meal, 2 meals, 3 meals, 4 meals, 5 meals. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you fast either. Like if that works best for your schedule, then cool, you can fast, dude. But what matters is finding a meal frequency that allows you to fit it into your schedule, right? I found 3 to 5 meals, somewhere in between that works for most people. But again, what works best for you? I wouldn't necessarily recommend 1 or maybe even 2 meals. I found people get really hungry that way and then tend to overeat. So 3 to 5 meals, get your body in routine, get your body's rhythm, keeps your energy levels high throughout the day. That's what I typically recommend. But again, as long as your calories are good by the end of the day, that's what matters most, right? So just for example, if you eat 1 meal and your calories are this high, you might just eat 2 meals, but your calories are still the same, right? Same thing with 3. Maybe you eat 3 meals, but the calories are all still the same. And see how this kind of works? The energy at the end of the day is still the same. It's just the way you break it down is a little bit more different. And then with each meal, I recommend, again, try having like a protein and fiber source with each meal, especially protein, and you're gonna be good, dude. Now, what about hunger with the frowny face? Because hunger can suck sometimes, right? If you're in a calorie deficit, you're gonna be a little hungry, dude. And that's okay, because you're in a deficit, and it's your body's natural defense mechanism to try to get you to eat more food. It's natural. You're gonna have to fight a little bit of hunger, but doing what we talked about before, eating more protein and fiber, is gonna help a lot with that hunger and keep you more full. But don't be scared if you're hungry. It's totally normal, right? Now, if you're starving, that's a different thing, right? And that's where I've seen, again, 3 to 5 meals can help regulate hunger a little bit. If you're eating like 1 to 2 meals, or even too many, like 8 small meals, that can cause a lot of hunger. So think about it. Think about it. And again, as long as your total calories at the end of the day are good, it doesn't matter how many meals you eat. One thing I recommend is taking your total calories, especially just to start as you're getting used to it, and dividing how many meals you're gonna eat. So if you're gonna eat, let's just say 4 meals, and you have 2,000 calories to eat, that would be 500 calories per meal, right? And same thing with protein. You take how much protein your goal is, divide that by how many meals. If your goal is 100 grams of protein, you're eating 4 meals, you'd have 25 grams per meal. So hopefully that helps kind of makes sense a little bit. Okay, the third thing is gonna be exercise. When I'm talking about exercise, I'm not talking about burning calories. This is for aesthetics, right? So nutrition is for your weight and your body fat. This is for your body composition, how you look. Strength training is going to be the best thing because you're gonna be focusing on building muscle. Muscle is gonna shape out your body. So strength training is very important. Now, with strength training, the key here is setting some goals. Okay, so what do you want to achieve, right? So do you want to get stronger, right? Do you want to have less aches and pains? Where do you want to have less aches and pains? Where do you want to get stronger in? Do you want to try new lifts? Do you want to get your first pull-up? Squat X amount of weight, be able to barbell back squat. Do you want to build X amount of muscle, right? So what is your goals? And again, whatever goals you have, you're going to focus on building muscle and getting stronger, okay? And then whatever goals you have are going to fit into that because that's what strength training is for. It's not for burning calories, right? In the long run, it's going to help with boosting your metabolism and helping you get leaner, but you have to go with the focus of, hey, I'm gonna build muscle and get stronger because that's what's gonna lead to the body that I want and a body that feels amazing, a body that I'm confident in, and a body that is full of energy and decreases stress, okay? And the main thing you're gonna focus on is the big compound movements, okay? So focus on movements and not muscles. So you're gonna focus on the squat, the deadlift, you're gonna focus on a press that's in front of you, a press that's overhead. If you can't yet do overhead, that's okay. You can do it at a little bit of an incline, like where you press a little bit at a 45-degree angle, whether it's with a landmine and you're one arm pressing up, whether it's with a incline bench press and you're pressing up at an angle. So you're gonna do 2 presses in front of you and above you. You're gonna do 2 pulls where it's pulling from in front of you, pulling from above you. You're gonna do core or abs, right? But you're working your core and abs in the big compound movements, but things like farmer's carries, planks, sit-ups, stuff like that. And then for like some sprinkles on top, you can include some like isolation movements, right? Some like arm work, shoulder work, quad work, glute work, stuff like that. But if you focus on the big compound movements first, like I said, like your squats, your deadlifts, and all those things, you're going to be working multiple muscles at once. You're going to be able to lift the most weight, and you're going to be feeling the best. You're going to make the best progress in the most efficient amount of time. You're going to get the best bang for your buck results, especially since we don't want to be lifting every single day of the week. We don't want to be in the gym 2 hours. This is going to allow you to hit all of your muscles and make the best progress by focusing on these big movements. Now, how many days per week? I honestly, 2 to 4 days a week is great, right? Maybe start at 2, work your way up to 3 or 4. Again, you can split this up into different splits. If you're doing 2 days a week, do full body because we want to try to hit each muscle group at least twice per week. So maybe do 2 body. Oh my gosh, do 2 full body workouts if you're doing twice a week. 3 days a week, you could do like an upper, lower, full. You could still do a 3-day full body, whatever you like. And then 4 days, just like an upper, lower split. So you'd have 2 upper days and 2 lower days, and you're going to be good to go with that. So the thing here, again, I'll leave it with this, is you want to lift heavy. You're stronger than you think. And that's how muscle and strength is built. So you want to keep focusing on form first, but you want to lift heavier over time to make progress. And this is something that's going to take time, right? It's going to take months and years to build muscle and strength, but enjoy the journey. Have fucking fun with it, man. It's fun to get strong. So exercise and strength training is going to be that thing. You could also add in some cardio if you want as a bonus, just for your health, even if it's just 1 day a week, right? Because it works your heart, which is super important. That's the most important muscle in your body. So, even like 30 minutes, 1 day a week, you could do multiple days a week if you want in that zone 2 cardio zone, which is 60 to 70% of your max heart rate. So just an example, like maybe 120 to 140 beats per minute. So you could do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days a week if you want. And that should be easy, not like killing yourself because we want to recover. But strength train 2 to 4 days a week, do cardio 1 to 3 days a week, and you're gonna be good, dude. All right, and the last quadrant is gonna be your health. Now, of course, those first 2 and even your mindset play into your health, but these are some things that are just important that necessarily won't, they'll help, they'll for sure help with those other things, right? All these things aren't mutually exclusive. They all play a role in each other. But these are going to help with your health and how you feel, but they're also going to play into a role with your strength training. and exercise are also going to play a role in your nutrition and making that a little bit easier, and your mindset, and we're just kind of tying it all in together on here. So if you can see, like, it's kind of like little steps, right? Mindset is the all-encompassing thing that surrounds your nutrition, your exercise, and your health. So first is going to be H2O, water. Pretty simple, right? It's healthy to drink water. Your body needs to live. It needs it to live, right? You're made up of 60 to 70% of water, so you need water. Drink some water throughout the day. I like to just say drink half a gallon to a gallon per day. Might seem like a lot, but hey, just because it's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You can also just look at the color of your pee. If you're peeing clear, you're probably overly hydrated. If it's dark yellow, brown, you definitely need to fucking drink some water. But just drink throughout the day. Sip some water throughout the day, especially if you sweat a lot, if you live in a hot climate. It's important to get more water in. But just carry around water each day, and honestly, that's going to have all your bases covered. If you don't like water, I would suggest forcing yourself to drink plain water, because you should absolutely learn to like plain water, even if you have to struggle with it for a few days, because that's an issue that needs to be solved. We should be able to drink plain water, but if you need some assistance at first, get some of those electrolyte packs or those 0-calorie flavor packs and use that to drink some water. It's better than nothing. But with water, that's it. Number 2, get your sleep in. Sleep is very important for your health. It's going to be important for not only your health, but reducing cravings. It's going to be important for your mood. It's going to be important for the decisions you make throughout the day. It's going to be important for your stress, your workout performance, and your progress, right? You're going to have more motivation. You're going to burn a little bit more calories and move around throughout the day if you get more sleep. So sleep's important. Basically, just try getting more than you're getting now. I'm going to be a dad here pretty soon. By the time you're watching this, I might already be one. And I understand that it's going to be difficult. So just try to get more than you're getting now. It's recommended to get 7 to 9 hours per day. But even if you just get 30 more minutes a day, that's better than not getting 30 more minutes. Like, even if you take a nap, or maybe you go to bed 30 minutes earlier, right? One of the best things you could do is set a sleep routine or a sleep ritual where you try to get into a habit of going to bed and waking up at the same time, because your body's like a clock. It likes to work in a routine. So I always recommend trying to set up your routine, go to bed around the same time, wake up around the same time, get all your stuff, set a deadline, right? Get all your stuff done by X time, and then go to bed, shut off electronics, don't drink caffeine past 3 p.m. If you can. Shut off all electronics, read a book, do something that's relaxing, take a hot shower to get your body and your nervous system primed into that rest and digest mode for bed, and then try to wake up around the same time. That's going to help regulate your body's circadian rhythm and help regulate your energy levels throughout the day, your hunger levels, and stuff like that. So sleep is very important. Number 3 is de-stress. This is a big one, right? There's a lot of things you can do here, right? You could go for walks outside, hang out with friends, read books, stop watching the fucking news, stop going on social media a lot. That causes a lot of stress. You can journal. Journal's a big one. You can meditate. Working out is going to help de-stress. And it's all about just trying your best, right? And you could see, these are all things that you can constantly work on. Getting sleep is going to help with de-stressing. So try your best to find ways to de-stress. Just practice it, right? Try one thing for a week. Try another thing for another week. And try just relaxing, and especially if you have kids, and especially if you work a crazy job and crazy hours, maybe you have your own business, just relax, dude. Have some fun, right? And that's kind of what number 4 is just be happy, have some fun, enjoy the ride, man. Don't take everything so serious. You know what I mean? Just have some fun, enjoy the ride, and good things will happen. It just makes life so much better. And then the 5th one I kind of put down here, and this one's pretty important, and that's going to be walking. It's a little walking man stick figure type of thing. Walking is very important for your health, and it's very important for a lot of things, right? They've actually shown people who walk more live longer, right? And your all-cause mortality risks decrease significantly. So the best way to do this is you could go on walks throughout the day, but just focusing on steps, right? So having a step goal each day, okay? You could do let's just say 7.5 to 10K steps per day. That might be a great goal to start with because that's going to be great for your health. And yes, you will burn a little bit more calories, but try to get that in per day. Again, just find ways to just move more throughout the day. They add up. Go for walks on your lunch break. Take the stairs. Park farther away in the grocery store parking lot. Get a walking pad for your desk. Whatever it is, like just get more steps in throughout the day. It's going to help a lot. And that's basically it, dude. So again, just focus on these things. If your goal is fat loss, aim for 1 to 2 pounds lost per week on average, right? So the trend over time. Don't get so caught up in the day-to-day fluctuations because those don't matter. What matters is the trend over time. So compare your weight month to month. That's the right way to do it. Not day to day, month to month. So January 1st to February 1st to March 1st, and then try to see a trend over time there. And most importantly, just have fun. And you don't have to do all these perfectly at once. Remember, it's a process. If you want to just start, choose 1 to 2 things from each category to work on first, right? Maybe choose one. Maybe for nutrition, you choose calories. Maybe for exercise, you choose, I'm going to strength train twice a day. Maybe for health, you're going to choose water, or maybe you're going to choose steps, right? Or maybe you choose 2 from each category. But the point is, maybe for a month, try one of these things in each category, or try a few things. And then the next month, add on to that by trying new things, right? And eventually, over the years, by the time you watch this in a year, you're going to be a totally different person, and you're going to be able to do a lot of these things easier, right? It's just like building muscle progressive overload. At first, 5 pounds or 10 pounds might feel heavy, but after a few weeks, that's going to feel light. And then you go up to 15, 20 pounds, but you would have never been able to lift that 20 pounds in the future. If this is overwhelming to you and you don't want to jump into all this, start with one thing and then add in another thing, and eventually it will get easier. So thank you for watching that video. I appreciate it a ton. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It helps a ton. Any questions you have, my email's in the link in the bio. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much, and we will talk soon.